When I first heard about it, my initial reaction was, how could they do this? Wow, what if they don't fit right? What if I come out looking completely different?
Well, you did end up going through with it, obviously. What actually happened? What really went down?
Emily. The appointment process was one that even my friends couldn't imagine.
6 months ago, Alvin got his 24-hour permanent smile, and today he's walking us through the top fears that people have about this quick process and if they actually came true. You ready, Alvin?
I am ready.
Awesome. Well, let's get started with one of the biggest fears that people do have about this process. When they hear about permanent teeth in 24 hours, their first thought might be, is this a scam? Is it even legit? So, when you first heard about it, what was your initial reaction?
Well, when I first heard about it, my initial reaction was, how could they do this? And I thought, this is so innovative. And if this is true, this is what's going to benefit me because I have heard stories where people have gone for months on end after getting one implant. And I'm talking about getting a full upper and lower implant. So when I first heard it, I certainly didn't think that it was a scam. And reason being because Nubia is very good about putting themselves out there. And so by putting themselves out there, I went to where they were and I started following Facebook. And that's where I started building my knowledge about Nubia and what they could possibly offer because it wasn't testimonies I was reading. I was listening to real people tell real stories in real time. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Well, you did end up going through with it, obviously. You're here today. You look incredible, by
Thank
the
you.
way.
Thank you. Thank you. I can't stop smiling. So thank you. And I won't.
Exactly, as it should be. But I want to hear, what actually happened? What really went down? Can you walk me through that kind of first appointment to the day you got your new teeth? Was it 24 hours? Let's hear about it.
Well, I have been contemplating getting this done for or getting something done to make me a healthier person, and deal with the issue of my teeth. It probably for 3 or 4 years, but it was December of when I noticed that my teeth had started to get weak, and I have a podcast, and so I'm talking all the time, and so my dentist had told me, Alvin, eventually you're going to have to get implants. So I knew all that, but it was December of when I found Nubia and started looking at everybody online in the community there. And I thought these people are real. So I got to do something. And later in December, I caught a flu. And that's when one of my teeth, I didn't have many left. It just completely fell out. And I thought, oh, wow, I don't have many options here. So I'm going to call Nubia. And that was probably the first part of my fear, making the call and getting the appointment. I took a quiz before calling to see if just what they did and if I was how I should go about making the appointment. And one sentence really got me when they said, "If you are a candidate." And I think that's when my whole heart just fell to my stomach because I thought, what if you're not a candidate, a good candidate? What you don't have a plan B? So anyway, I called and I made the appointment and I went in and the Nubia people act as if they knew me. I was like, customer service was like at a 12. And I thought, okay, that's comfortable. And then they turned me on to a rep that, oh my God, I can't, it was a gentleman. I can't think of his name right now, and I'm so sorry. But he walked me through the whole process and what the next steps were, me getting, taking the x-ray and all of that. And then getting us to the conversation of, okay, I'm gonna turn this over to the surgeon and they're gonna let you know if you're a candidate. I'm telling everybody I don't know about you, but I sat in that room for 5 minutes thinking, what if I'm not a candidate? What that it was the worst feeling of the entire process for me. Only to have someone come in the room and say you are a candidate. And I went from slump to happy. And, it was just now I can deal with the reality of what comes next, payment,
Right.
scheduling, all of that. But when you don't know that based on one little thing, whew, yeah, it's very stressful. But that was the most stressful of this whole process.
Oh, that says a lot in itself.
Yeah, that was the most stressful.
Wow. So, okay, you had your consultation,
Mhm, mhm.
um, and then what was the next step? Did you get it going for your smile design? Was that the next step after that?
The appointment process was one that even my friends couldn't imagine. I have a friend who I stayed with when I went to Fort Lauderdale, who is a dentist, and so I told him I was going to Nuvia. I explained the whole process, and this is how I know this is very serendipitous that I should have been there because we go out to dinner on Sunday, and there was this biscuit that I just had to bite into. I wanted it, so I bit into the biscuit. And this was a Sunday, my appointment was on Monday, and one of my teeth came out in the biscuit,
Wow.
and I said, "I'm supposed to be here." The tooth that came out didn't allow my denture to be in at all. So
Oh.
I I said, "I'm supposed to be here." So on Monday, I went in, got my X-ray, got my smile test, if you will, picked out my teeth. Ladies and gentlemen, I picked out all of these. I had a hand in picking them out, which, come on, come on. I
Right?
mean, again, I played a part in that too. And so my only fear was, wow, what if they don't fit right? What if they don't, but they assured me that they will. So after I picked out my teeth, that was Monday. The next day they said, okay, well, your surgery is tomorrow, Tuesday. They gave me a prescription for medication to prepare for it. I go in on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I I don't even recall it happening. And when I finished, I knew that something was happening, but I felt no pain. Now that could be pain medicine. Everybody experienced pain differently. I didn't feel any pain. And I went in the bathroom and could see the implant in my mouth. They do not put the teeth in that day. They give the implants a chance to settle, and you go home and you ice yourself and you take your painkillers and whatnot. You have to ice your face every 20 minutes, of which again I'm living with the dentist. My best friend goes with me. So they're in the room every 2 hours or whatever, putting ice on my face. And then the third day, Wednesday, I go back at a time given to me and I was swollen. And I'm going to share with Emily some pictures, you guys, and I'm going to give her
Mhm.
permission to show you how I look like a Teletubby when I did it. And the swelling was so overwhelming. I said, well, how can you put these teeth in my mouth? And they assured me, oh, they'll go in. They put the teeth in my mouth and I went home. That was a Wednesday. And I kept icing myself. And then Thursday didn't have to come back, was, a day of rest. And Friday, I had to fly out to fly back in the evening. So I went in that morning. They did a final check and everything was setting well. They give you explicit instructions on how you should care for yourself and uh the things that you should do and not eat. And you have to go by the instructions. There's no way you should deviate from that. and I literally felt no pain. When I got on the plane, my best friend was like, "Are you sure you're gonna be okay? Because the altitude might do that." I
Yeah.
said, "Well, give me a Tylenol. Let's do it." But right now, I said, I feel nothing.
Wow.
I felt nothing. And so the whole innovation aspect behind that, I don't know how Nubia got to this, but I am so glad I'm here talking to you, Emily, to share that I am living proof that what they say is what they do.
Wow. Yep, 24 hours later, you had your teeth. Friday, you were headed back home,
Mhm.
and please tell me, are those the same teeth that you still have in your mouth today?
These are the very same teeth. I call them Mercedes and Rolls Royce on a given day. These are my same teeth.
You did touch a little bit on pain here, and I wanna get to talking more about that, but first, if you are watching and you're also wondering something that Alvin wondered before getting this done, "Am I a candidate?" There is that 60-second quiz that you can take in the description below. It's a great place to get started, so you can check that out there. So, Alvin, you mentioned, you weren't really experiencing much pain, and I know this is a big fear of people because it's a surgery, right? So, something happening this fast, isn't it gonna hurt? So, did you initially have fears before you went into this about the pain aspect?
My fear was only about, I'm going to pick out these teeth, but what if I come out looking completely different, which in some ways I do look different from how I looked, which that's another conversation, how I had to prepare myself for the possibility of that. But I had no fear. Um, Again, the Facebook page that thousands and thousands of people who have had this done, it was so reassuring to me to be a part of, or listen to the community now and be a part of the community and
Mhm.
listen to their stories. I mean, very age groups, young, diverse backgrounds. I'm not a rich man and I don't know anyone else's walk, but my impression was these weren't like people who were super wealthy who were getting this done. These were people normal like me. And I thought, there's some truth here. So no, I had very little doubt after I did my homework, and
Wow,
yeah, I honestly have to say I was ready. I was ready
that's
to do it.
great.
Yeah.
I think that's great though.
Mhm,
Going in with less fear is always a good thing.
mhm.
So whenever you did come back in that next day after surgery to get your teeth placed, did that itself hurt? What did that feel like?
I'm gonna actually, it felt like I was still on pain meds, so let me put it that way. So, but there was and I would just, oh, I wish I could look at my phone right now and her name would be there because uh Nuvia Fort Lauderdale, I have everybody's name in my phone that helped me. But the technician that put my teeth
Uh-huh.
in my mouth, she was so precise and they didn't give me anything to numb me or anything like that. It was perfect.
Wow.
It was perfect considering now you have these gums that have just been through something that was super duper traumatic and they're not healed yet. You're not healed. The gums still have to get accustomed to all the work that is taking place, but putting the teeth in didn't take away from that. It was part of the process, part of the whole healing process, and so no pain. To be sitting here with you right now, speaking so much better than I was when I was, first had it done. Um, it is really a blessing.
Wow. So I'm everyone is so different when it comes to, the recovery and stuff, but it's great to hear that you didn't really experience much pain, discomfort, and I'm surprised. I'm always surprised by it because it's a surgery, it's a big surgery, and so it also does make sense that there are some adjusting moments, right? Learning how to talk with them, and I'm sure eating is a whole other situation you gotta get used to because it's a foreign object in your mouth,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Yes.
How long do you think it took to kind of adjust to this new your new smile? Are you still you're still adjusting, or are you?
I'm
Yeah.
still adjusting, but I would say I came home on the 7th. I would say by the 16th of March, you could see the swelling going down. And I remember going to church somewhere around the 23rd or 22nd of March, where the swelling had gone down, but people were looking at me like there's something different and we don't know what it is. But I have not felt any pain ever.
Wow.
You all, I hope everyone, and I know everyone's different, but I have not felt any pain.
I am so glad. I am so glad.
Mm.
Oh, man. Wow. I still can't believe it. That is incredible, though. I do wanna get to another big concern people have, and we kind of you kind of touched it earlier,
Mhm.
which is, what if it doesn't turn out how I expected? And I'm sure that's a fear a lot of people have going into this. What if I spend this money and it's not what I imagined, right? So, can you talk a little bit more maybe about that fear you had going into it?
So I I don't know how to even answer that anymore because I went in there very optimistic. And again, I don't look exactly the same as I did. That's because I have a full rack of teeth up and down, top and bottom. But I wouldn't change this for nothing.
Oh.
I would. This experience has just been, as my boss would say, "Bravo Zulu." Okay, just it's just fantastic. Yeah.
So, I wanna hear more about what's made this so great for you. What has really changed even on like day-to-day life? Can you talk more about that?
Whoa. Well, Emily, Emily, Emily. Um, a couple of things that are very significant that are
Okay.
very impactful. Um, First of all, my health. A lot of people don't understand that I know that a lot of health concerns that people have is because of poor dental hygiene. And by me having this surgery, it corrected, or I was able to deal with some hygiene issues that I didn't even know that I had. And it has corrected that. So my health has been better. I'm a very health conscious person anyway. But if I may, Emily, getting to this point, I have been HIV positive for 35 years. And so I knew I'm one of the people when HIV first hit our world. And so I was taking medication, and this is the reason why my gums got weak. I was taking medication that was very strong, until we got to this point where now there's medication that allows people to live with HIV. And so I know that that had a very big reason for my gums getting weak because I've been going to the dentist all my life, and so that's a huge part of it. So my health was a big part of why I did it. I also have gained. Um, I have a talk show, and I've noticed how people. At first, I used to just think, well, maybe I want people to just hone in on the talk show and not hone in on the person who's putting on the talk show too much. But I'm going to say that I believe that my ratings have gone up because my smile presents another side of me that maybe, well, I couldn't show because I didn't have it. And thanks to Nuvia, that smile is like there. And then the last piece, because I've been smiling since I got it. I have gained this beautiful relationship with someone that saw my smile online and said, "Wow." And I've asked them. I said, "So, did you like hit me up or because of my smile?" And they said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Wow, wow, wow. Okay, well, ding, 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 ding." And so, the benefits of all that. and the value of all that um, has pretty much impacted my life. And the reason I'm here, and I'm grateful for you all Emily, you giving me this opportunity, and Nubia giving me this opportunity, is because even in posting on the page, you all have seen something from me that probably said to you, "Hey, let me consider this guy to come on the show and tell his story." So thank you for that. So there's been tremendous value in getting this new smile. Mhm. Yeah.
I am so beyond happy for you and excited for you, and you're just 6 months after this, right? I'm sure there's still much more to explore about yourself and your smile.
Mhm. Mhm.
What are you excited about?
Well, first, I was excited about eating a piece of chicken. I mean, I love chicken from the air fryer. I ate a piece of a chicken wing a couple of weeks ago. Emily, it was as if I had gone to the best restaurant in the whole world. I went almost a year and a half without biting into a hamburger because I was afraid to eat because I had to make all these adjustments. Um, yeah, yeah.
Wow. And it's the little things like that, right, that are such big things.
Little teeny things like that are like huge. To even I love celery. I couldn't bite a celery stalk.
Mhm.
And so little things like that um are very important to me, and have been important. And a lot of that's because of, me taking the plunge and having the surgery. Yeah.
Absolutely, and you did that for yourself, and I love like, you took the leap, and here you are. Like, you should be so proud of yourself.
I am. And I know we haven't touched on it, but I want to tell people
Mhm.
you cannot put a cost on your health.
Totally.
Yeah.
And since these 6 months, I know it's still early,
Mhm.
but have your teeth felt reliable? Like, do they feel strong, or are you ever kind of worried about something happening to them? What about that?
Very good question. I will always be worried about something happening to my Rolls Royces. Okay. I will always. And so I don't, I used to love to smoke a cigar every now and then. I'm not smoking a cigar at all. So there are things that you have to adjust to. I don't, I'm not worried because I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Um, there might be a time when it's cold outside. It's been like during the winter. I think I felt like a little tingle in my mouth because it was cold. And I don't know that for sure, but I put it in my journal to say, "Hey, it was cold outside and you felt this tingle and this is the first time you've ever felt something like this, but I've never had this in my mouth." And so but I don't have any doubt that the work was done improperly. I think it was done to the best of the ability based on the need that I had and the situation that I had with my mouth to have it done. So I know I take care of it. I mean, I went through the flossing thing. That water pick. It's like your best friend. Um, I will say when I go to dinner though, I have to take flossers with me. I make sure that I uh, pay attention to them when I'm out. So
Totally.
um, just a thing that I want to get used to. So I have flossers in my car. I have flossers in like if I have a backpack. You know what I'm saying? I might have slipped a couple in my wallet, to make sure that if I'm out and I got to do that. But those are things that you have to do once you get this done because it is it is truly life changing. Mhm.
Absolutely, and you wanna keep them that way.
Yeah.
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 So second to last question,
Mhm.
do you feel supported by Nuvia after the fact?
I'm gonna say I feel supported by Nubia. After you have it done, there's a 2-week follow-up and then a 4-month to reconnect with them and have them to look and check things out and make sure that things were set right. That was another wonderful experience. And the professionalism that this company has, um, incredible. It is incredible. And if I can encourage someone to at least look into having this done, I have a feeling that you won't turn back, especially if you put some things in perspective. And I'm not the kind of person that necessarily puts cost at the first reason why I'm going to take care of myself. A lot of it, for me is the time that it's going to take for whatever I need to have done. And if I can get it done, because if I can't get it done, money or anything else is not even going to be, shouldn't even come up in the conversation. So I'm happy. Mhm.
Good. Yeah, well, I was gonna say, my last question is, looking back, do you have any regrets this far?
Oh my gosh, Emily, no. No, 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 no. I don't, I really don't. Not.
I am so
Mm,
happy to hear that.
thank you. I'm happy to tell you, and I can't say enough. I'm just grateful that you had me here to
Mm,
tell my story and to shed light on
uh,
Nubia and the Nubia team and family. I mean, top notch. Eh, I could go on and on and on and on and on, but it has been a very big wow factor for me. And I hope that I can encourage someone else to do that if they need to. Mhm,
totally.
mhm.
Well, Alvin, I wanna thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Your story is proof that fears can be real that people have, but so are the results. And you were here today showing us that the results are real, right? So for those watching, if you are ready to see if you could be a candidate for this 24-hour permanent smile, don't forget to take that 60-second quiz in the description below. And until next time, keep
Keep
smiling.
smiling.